Garros, Stavros doing your job again. Fucking warning you. You orange fuck. Myro, so much better than the tiger. Tigers may be beautiful, but monkeys have hands. Thumbs. Monkeys have thumbs. Oh, right. Let's do this! Sip, sip. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. It's fucking goo. Goo goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, my shoulders and my spine know it's time for the goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. It's 3. Cha-cha-chi. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Oh. It was a cold one today. I have the sniffers again. Painting goo. 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 Painting goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting fucking goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Sip rant goo. Sip rant goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Sip rant goo. Painting goo. Sip sip goo. Ugh. That's it, Myro. Bring it home. Painting goo. Painting goo. Is the painting goo? Right, you filthy mortars. Despicable people of Earth realm. If you have any honor within that dreadful mortar shell, that pitiful, vulnerable mortar shell, you will pay the monkey, because I do not. Greetings, and welcome to another glorious episode of Paintingu! With I, Defenderu, your glorious but cold demigod, my human half, is a freezing in this glorious Irish winter weather. Despite the heating being on over an hour, I am still crutching my coffee grocery. Right, today, on PEINTEINGU, we return yet again to the racetrack rooking island of Tokelauan. Yes. Hi. We have a yacht full of niggas to paint. And a reg, which we've kind of already painted, but still much work to do on this PEINTEINGU. Still much work to do. I'm quite satisfied with my background Godzilla. He's glorious, is he not? Oh, so good. Rubbery and warm. My hands. Ugh. Not only do I not drink enough agua, but I am quite lean. I'm very lean. I would actually love to know exactly what my fat percentage is, because it's probably fucking 0. Because that's what it feels like anyway. The cold is in my bonies. Stabberoo. Maxed out. Maxed out Beru. Maxed outu. Maxed outu. Yes, maxed outu. Stabberoo. Maxed outu. Desmondu. Welcome. Tuna? Who said tuna? I love tuna. Over my many years, or 3 of them here in Earthrealm, have consumed much tuna. Probably hundreds of tins of tuna over the years. Perhaps that's why I find it difficult to put on weight. I have the red tide parasite sitting deep within my bowels. God only knows. Because I'm not a fag, so I don't go to the doctor. Please help, there is something wrong with me. Fuck that shit. I do not subscribe, to the idea, no longer, of illness being something that you should off-road the cure to someone else. If you are ill, it's your fault, and you must rectify it promptly. If you have the sniffers, wrap up. Drink some hot lemon tea. Some shit. Have a rem sip. The female is on her way home. Excellent. Excellent news. Pardon me, whilst I communicate with the female, Oh. I was warm earlier. Now I'm cold. Why? Because I am Irish, and I live in Ireland. It is farking cold. Very, very cold. Mr. Whitbarrow. Mercury poisoning. Perhaps. Perhaps. Perhaps that's why I'm mad. Or was that lead? It'd be so funny to find out that, like, all of my creativity stems from some sort of parasite that's, like, fucking with my nervous system. How funny would that be if you found out that, like, some of the major decisions you've made in life are down to the fact that, like, you're sick on, like, in some way, like, or infected with something, like. I've said it before many times, I'll say it again. I would not be surprised to discover if the shit from Stargate is like kind of true, where at some point a lot of humans came across some weird serpent parasite googly moogly shit, and ever since then, just a large portion of the population is just fucking demons. Red and Mercury are great at assisting you with insanity. I need something to spark my creativity. What would you suggest? Heavy metal poisoning? It's all the rage these days. I mean, come on, we're giving heroin to children. Like, they're like, is it the 18th century? Like, yeah, like the 18th century, like industrial England and industrial America, like the snake oil salesman, the fucking like the cowboy era, but like say like the middle of it. Like electricity isn't like a really big thing yet. Like everything's still gunpowder and oil and animal fat and furs and like wood or coal fires. Like everything's still really analog and like hands-on, and like the amount of men whatever about like how often do you think about the Roman Empire, the amount of men like myself that like love that shit, like chopping wood and burning it and just sitting there and looking at the fire and talking and shit. Like I do it on my own. I don't even need people with me. Like just chop wood, burn it, just like yeah. Like it's so primally satisfying. It's hilarious to me. Like I've kind of like come across the same kind of primal satisfaction with painting. It's weird. I think art and painting is actually one of those things that like anyone can do, maybe. I'm not sure. Like I think anyone could be like a really good fire. Like they're not going to be the best, do you know what I mean? But like I think you can make anyone a really good fire if you train them. And I think it's the same with like almost anything. Like I was watching this video on Instagram where this dude's talking about like the Chinese art world versus the American art world. And when you see a stadium full of about like at least 1,000 Chinese art students all at the same time, all in the same massive room, all drawing, and all of them are like really fucking good. Like not just okay, they're all excellent artists. And there's like at least there could be way more. It could be like 5,000. The room is, I wouldn't call it a room. It's an enclosed space. Like it's huge. And they've all just got these like easels in front of them with a big A3 sheet or like an A2 sheet of paper on it. And they're just there with charcoal and fucking pencils and shit, and they're all just drawing, and they're all attempting to get into this particular like school whose selection pool is only like something crazy like 2%. So like out of the potentially thousands of applicants in that room, and it might not be just them, like, do you know what I mean? It might be like just them today. It could be like a week of like that room being full of thousands of Chinese kids. And the selection portion is like 2% of them. That's fucking wild. Like the competition, the level of competition is so insane. It would it would demoralize you. It would like deter you from such a, you're like, what? That's like so, it's not even like some of them are shit and some of them are, good. It's like they're like every single fucking one of them you look at, you're like, oh my God, they're all like really like, and it's because it's academic drawing. It's not just like, people think art, they think this whole subjective, different styles of art, like like Van Gogh with his like loads of different brush strokes to create an image or whatever, like loads of singular brush strokes with different colors and stuff. And then you have like
the Da Vinci, who's just like incredibly realistic and highly detailed, but also an engineering mind as well. Like in you have these like was it is another one called like Caravaggio or I can't remember or yeah, there's all these like famous Renaissance painters like Rembrandt. Or, that might be a fucking musician. I don't even know. I'm just trying to pull these names into my head, but like incredible skill, like not just you know creativity and stuff. Like you start to see more of the creativity these days, where it's just like like they think it's creative to put a load of paint in a fucking what is essentially a shelf, and then pour all the paint lined up on a canvas, like with a dude swinging over the canvas and all. And like, sure, you get some cool looking patterns and like the colors are nice and stuff like that, but it's like the art world in the West for years now is completely and utterly like void of any like semblance of it actually being a craft that's like respected. Like the ability to produce a piece of art that like people will stand at and stare at and just be like, oh my god, that's fucking incredible. Don't get me wrong, it's still there to a degree, but it's been so overinflated with all this like one brushstroke fucking look at me and my mop and shit. Like it's crazy. It's fucking really frustrating and demoralizing sometimes as an artist. Like not just like a painter or somebody who draws. Like I create shit, I come up with characters, like I fucking do shit live, and then I have like these symmetrical things that I like doing, which I think are fairly unique. It's like I make up my own Rorschachs or some shit, I don't fucking know. But like you see so much of this. It's in everything. It's not just the art world, but it's so much like poorly executed repetition and what's the word I'm looking for? Derivative shit. Like everything is derivative of something else in a sense. Like nobody comes up with like a completely original idea. There's always something like something else. But there are some ideas that are really unique. Like, and it's like, you just get less of that now. It's a subject that I could ramble on for fucking ages because it's incredibly frustrating to like be one and see other people like, like especially the ones that annoy me are the ones that like do art that I think is shit and they have like hundreds of thousands of views. That does piss me off when I see it. I'm like, seriously? Fuck's sake. Like, do you know what I mean? But then you see someone like Thomas Elliott or Alpe Faye or Pinstripe Chris, and like they get loads of attention and they deserve every fucking every ounce of it. Like they deserve every set of every pair of eyeballs that looks at their stuff. They fucking deserve it because their stuff's incredible. Like, and that's kind of what I've like resigned myself to, which is also kind of depressing sometimes, is like I've resigned myself to I will succeed if I am good enough to succeed. So let's just keep trying and see if I'm good enough. Like, do you know what I mean? And I keep proving that I'm good enough to make some money, enough money to like make a difference in some small things. It's also like it's more the timing in my life, the whole COVID, and like I just had a job and stuff like that, and COVID hit, was like fuck this, and didn't want to be on the dole again for an extended period of time. So I was like, what can I do? What can I like? I had this like existential crisis almost, where it was like everybody's just fucking doing the same thing. Everybody's just fucking, well, not everybody obviously, but like most people are just like so bet down and miserable and depressed, and so was I. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just gotten out of that kind of mindset, thankfully. But I was the same as everybody else in that regard, where I was just like fed up with everything being so gay and fed up with everything being so poorly orchestrated and poorly organized and poorly regulated, and like, do you know what I mean? There's no like, don't get me wrong, on a meta moral level, like I would agree with Benjamin and say that like life is fair because everything's a choice, but there's also the everyday reality of an incredible amount of needless suffering, you know? Like, completely unnecessary waste of time, waste of resources, waste of energy, waste of space, waste of fucking, like, it's so inverted and so contradictory to like what they claim to be and all. It's such a fucking lie and shit that you just find yourself sitting there, no matter the medium, no matter the subject matter, no matter the context, like whether it's fucking American football or comic books, like it's like it's all pervasive and has been for a while now. We're just this like submit or be claimed to be a bigot, you know, like that's like I didn't even know what the fuck a bigot was, you know, for a while. I was like, what the fuck is a bigot? Like bigot and faggot sound pretty close together, like, you know, like, Grufu Sama, welcome. Lead from the pipes and mercury from the tuna. You are full of heavy metal. Makes sense. Probably. That's what I thought was hilarious when fucking Balder Bear sent in that letter one time about it was like he like gave us all like strengths and weaknesses as like a card game kind of thing. It was so fucking funny. I was the only ginger guy to not have ginger being ginger as a weakness. I thought that was fucking hilarious. And like Papa J Bear's not even that ginger, and like you say weakness being ginger. But I think what was it, my strengths is like painting or like creating funny things or something like along those lines, and then my weakness was parasites. Because a few times on like Bear Banter and hanging with bears and on my stream plenty of times I've been like, I think there's a high likelihood it's parasites, man. All this fucking shit, like whatever about like, you know, Satan and God and all this like that would just make so much, like that would be hilarious to me, you know, the whole kind of dark humor thing where like, you know, oh my god, that's so fucked up, but like it's also hilarious, like laughing at a funeral or something. Like how funny would it be if like all this pondering and all this like existential, like, is God real, what's going on, and like, is it the Jews, is it this, is it like, oh, it's not the Jews, it's like straight up demons and jinn, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, and it all like not all of it but most of it turns out to be the result of us coming in contact with an organism like a couple of 100 years ago, and like that's just been hidden from us. Like that would make perfect sense, like, because if you were a predator and you were that level of predator and able to manipulate your prey, and then like it would just make way more sense. It is more fucked up and dark that humans just do that shit to each other because free will exists. Like that's even more fucked. But it would like almost for loads of reasons make more sense that it was like something we came in contact with that like totally changed how we operate on a fundamental level. And anytime I think about it, I just end up fucking like spiraling into a rambling rant about how like so much of life, especially like recent history, makes sense in my head if it's we were exploring, we got to the ice wall, we found some shit, and we were like, right. It was like nobody can know about this. You know, like if anybody gets wind of the fact that like we showed up in the snow and we got our asses handed to us by like another race or something, like, you know, or if we dug in the snow and we found these black snake things that like infected a whole crew of us and like they're like superhuman now or some shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine if it was a case where like if you come across these parasite things, they like, you know, symbiotically like merge with your nervous system and your like your not like your nervous system but also like your hormonal levels and like all this, like they just like latch onto your spine or like somewhere in your somewhere in your gut that would allow them to like connect to your nervous system, which connects to the rest of your body. So like they're like, because like think about it, when you look at the fungi thing and how it completely controls an ant or a praying mantis or a snail or whatever, like it's not far fetched to think that something could do that to us. So if it was able to like turn us into like fucking what's that faggot's name? Khan. Khan Min Singh, or like fuck the dude from Star Trek. Where they like genetically altered humans to just be better, and then the genetically altered humans, because they were better, were like, well, why would, you know, we should be in charge, we're better. And there was this big like, you know, genetically altered human uprising, and they killed like a few of them, and there was still like 300 of them left or something, and then they like managed to knock them out with gas or some shit, put them in a spaceship and fired them into space. Or I think they kept them in a satellite like nearby or some shit in cryosleep or some shit, like, you know. But it's like that would totally happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it, if the predator is us, or if the predator is something else plus us that's like using us, or if the predator is just something else, like another humanoid or another entity or creature, like a fucking, you know, bipedal octopus with telepathy or some shit, like, the amount of shit that the people in control at the time of first contact would do to like handle that situation, you know. It's like, it's not, it doesn't require like a, you know, a really profoundly sophisticated imagination or knowledge of history to postulate or to like think of a hypothetical where like, okay, look at recent history, we've like had these two world wars, and they're called world wars because as far as everybody was concerned, it was like the whole realm, all the nations were getting involved. You know, not literally, obviously, but like the majority, allegedly, of Earth was like fighting each other, and there was two sides. Like, how crazy is that? Like that, like as a species, we were like, okay, well, the Japs, the Germans, the fucking, what was it? The Japs, the Germans, and the Cubans. I can't fucking remember. It's like they're the bad guys. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, we're the good guys. The Americans, the Europeans, the fucking. It's like, who decided this? Like, you can't tell me that like their way of life is like wholly evil and our way of life is wholly good. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just such bullshit. Germans are awesome. Japs are awesome. Like, everybody's awesome for their own reason. It's always just used against us. And my question is it just us doing it to each other, or is it another thing? You know? Is it Satan? Is it purely figurative and spiritual and like symbolic and immaterial? You know, it's just on the consciousness level. Or is it like both? Or is it just physical? Did we just come across something that is like a way better predator than us and like fucked us up? Like, we have like species-wide trauma and amnesia. Like, loads of the truthers, like, that was one of the major things I heard when I first became a truther, was like, we have collective amnesia. It's time to wake up. Remember who we are, where we came from, and all, like, and that is like, think about how fucking crazy that is as a species. Could you imagine if like dogs became sentient and they're like, where did we come from? And then they ask us, and we're like, we don't know. Like the fact, I think that's insane. Like, I think that's like the first major lie or subversion is we don't know where we came from, when we came from, how we came from, like, collectively, like, or even like, we don't have a, like, I'm sure there's one culture or race, like I've said before, that would claim like, oh, we have the records, we have the books and the artifacts and the symbology and all this shit. We can date our existence all the way back to the first dude who had the first son, who was this and that. Fuck off. You, like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a minute. Like, I totally believe more that like there was like at least one, probably many, cataclysmic events that were probably a result of our stupidity and ignorance that have resulted in just this absolute shit show train wreck of a species where only a small portion of us actually know what's going on, even if like a little. seriously wouldn't be surprised if, like, they, in quotes, are, like, not even that more aware than we are. They know, like, a few major things, and that's, like, the main defining difference between us and them, is that because they are in that position, they know these things, they have a tremendous advantage, or some shit, like. But on another level, it's kind of like, you know full well that they still piss, shit, eat, like, get sick now and again. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, it would also make a lot of sense that they, in quotes, if you actually, like, found out who they are and, like, you ended up in a room with them, I wouldn't be surprised if they're fucking, like, greys. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hello, welcome to the sanctum. And you're like, what the fuck? Aliens? No, child. You do not understand. Looking like this and sounding like this is our evolutionary maximum. Like, just like, what the fuck? You guys are human? We were once human. Like, then we became enlightened by the black stone. Like, fuck off. Like, you worship a magnetic rock? Oh, God. So between the sun worshippers and the rock worshippers, like think about that. Like, you know, like, Jesus is Bacchus. Like, you know, that's what I've heard. So it's like, Jesus is Jupiter, Jesus is Bacchus. Like, it's like, it's all the same shit. It's all just sun worship. Worshipping the creation instead of the creator. And because nobody knows what the fucking creator looks like, sounds like, or fucking even... Like, think about it. Everyone's like, Jesus, Muhammad... Buddha, these, like, idols, these dudes, these humans that allegedly at some point in history were like, I have attained it. I spoke to God and he told me, eat me. Like, you must eat me and drink me. And praying only works if you face east. Like, and you must always, and I mean always, do it kneeling on a carpet. Like, and your women have to look like they're wearing bin sacks. Like, or like black lampshades or some shit like that. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Ah, Yin Gananu, welcome. I had a body snatcher dream like that. I wonder sometimes if the metallic brain parasites are real. Margie, welcome. I genuinely think that most people have something in them. I don't know if it's a parasite. Maybe, like, what if it's not a parasite? What if we would class it as a parasite? Scientifically, you know, the experts would be like, it's a parasite. It appears to be a parasite, you know? And then upon further inspection, it's like just this, like, profoundly advanced organism that you couldn't class as a parasite. Like, what if they can exist on their own? What if they don't need us? You know? Like, we don't need a stick, but it's useful, you know? These things are just like, ooh, human opportunity. Like, think about what I said about Myro the monkey at the start. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, monkeys are so much better than tigers. They have thumbs, you know, like the way we treat goats and cattle and shit, and even dogs or whatever. Like, you know, we'd, like, domesticate them. We treat them essentially like slaves. Whether we're good to them or not, like, it's the same thing. It's like, I am using you for something. Don't get me wrong, most relationships, like, can be, like, reciprocal and beneficial for both parties. Like, do you know what I mean? Animal gets a way more, like, you know, loving and harmonious and carefree life, whether you butcher it at the end or not. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I will give you a safe place away from predators, and I will feed you, like, all the time and give you water and shit. Animals in the wild don't get that. Animals in the wild have to self-sustain, like, do you know what I mean? But the catch-22 is like, they do, though. They do sustain. And they sustain so well that I think God invented predators. You know, like, he makes all the herbivores And he's like, okay, so these ones chew on the grass, that keeps the grass down, and then they shit, that makes the dirt, and the grass keeps growing. They're like, okay, I got a good like perpetual engine going here. Like, you know, fucking, like they say, was it like perpetual movement or is it just perpetual movement or a perpetual engine, perpetual movement machine or whatever? It's like, oh yeah, it doesn't exist. It's like that seems completely incorrect to me. I mean, is the whole Earth, like nature, not a perpetual machine, an autonomous, to a degree, fucking it just goes, it just works. I mean, it's been around as long as we fucking know. You have all these fucking Egypts that are like, it used to be a giant ball of lava, and then it cooled, and then shit growing. Like, how the fuck do you know that? How in the name of, like, oh, we're so intelligent and we've really looked at the evidence. What's the evidence? Stuff in dirt. Like, bones. Like, we've got these binoculars that are like really fucking advanced, so I can look at something really close up and see the minutia of the realm and how it works. So basically, you watch stuff move, take notes, and then make a wild amount of assumptions based on the fact that you think you're intelligent enough to comprehend all this shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, obviously science works. The scientific method works. Experimentation, all that shit. That's how we get inventions. Like, you trial, error. Ooh, look at that. Like, but the level of arrogance repeatedly displayed by people who claim to be intelligent and, like, you know, trying to just do the best for the people around them. It's like, I don't know. I mean, most of the time it just looks like everybody will love me if I do this. I'll make so much money if I do this. You know, think of the power I could wield if I did this. Man, I just want to be left the fuck alone. If I didn't have to earn money, I would just play video games, fuck my woman, and paint. I just do shit that I like doing if you didn't have to, like, earn a living. Like, think of the concept of that. Like, don't get me wrong, suffering's great, working hard's awesome, like, having a purpose is awesome. Having a directive, choosing a directive that is, like, good, true, beautiful, productive, all that jazz, it's great. But, like, the concept of having to, like, when you phrase it that way, you must earn a living. I'm alive. I don't need to earn being alive. I'm fucking alive. Like, and then you get told by society that, like, you're worthless unless you have a certain position or you make enough money. And not just society, your potential mates. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, your dick's huge and you're really fucking attractive and shit, but, like, ugh, what are those? What are those shoes? Do you shop at fucking, what was it, TK Maxx or some shit? Like, do you know, like, it's wild how fucked up we've become in various ways. You know? Like, think about how fucked up porn is. Like, I don't know about you, but, like, I've seen so many animals shag in, like, documentaries and shit like that. Like, you know, it is mating season in the Serengeti, and the male lions are rowdy as fuck, laying claim to as many females as they can before the season ends. And then, like, all the gusto and bravado and the intimidation and the ferocity of a lion. And do you know how long they bang for? They'll sit down behind a female and go beep, and then that's it. I couldn't stop laughing the first time I saw it. It's the most, like, underwhelming, anticlimactic phrasing fucking thing you'll ever see. It's just a female lion just, like, chilling, and then maybe she'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Ah, fuck, whatever, like, get it over with. And he just, like, sits behind her and just, like, wobbles a bit and then fucks off. It's hilarious to me. Like, and then, like, cats, domestic cats, like, they, like, fucking endure horrific pain during, like, think about the list of shit, like you ever fucking, like, female hyenas essentially have, like, what they call, I think it's a faux penis. It's like it's like their vagina is, like, huge and, like, protrudes outside of their body to, like, look like a giant dong, and That's what they deliver the baby through, is that canal. Like, and apparently some of them can like die from bleeding to death because they have to like squeeze a fucking load of cubs out of this tube that's like a fake dick. Like nature's wild. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's wild, but it's like crazy. You know, like, and the unbelievable fucking arrogance of us as a species to be like, oh yeah, we've observed nature and we've observed ourselves, and like we're totally like the apex predator because my brains, you know, like to claim that we're like, oh yeah, we're clearly the apex predator. Like, don't get me wrong, there's like a lot of examples of us like completely whitewashing a species, like buffalo and shit. Like, you know, hand a few Indians guns and it's like, where'd all the buffalo go? What? Like, it's crazy. It's so stupid. It's so short-sighted. Like, did seriously nobody think, like, maybe we shouldn't kill all of them? like obviously they didn't because there's still some, but like apparently they got real close. There's so like, I was about to say there's so few examples of humans doing like really awesome shit, but like, not really, obviously. There's loads of examples of humans doing really awesome shit. But comparatively, there's just these huge swaths. Like, if anything about our history that we got told in school is even remotely true, the amount of fucked up mental shit that we have either done ourselves, depending on what culture you come from, or that, like, we have witnessed other cultures do, and be like, you there! How dare you fucking sacrifice that child on that pyramid? Like, you know, on guard, sir. Like, I love the idea of the British Empire showing up in different places and being like, you know, good lord, these primitives. What do we do, Nelson? What else do we do? Shoot them. Like, these people are clearly animals. Like, how funny is that? Like, different portions of our species throughout the ages have found other members of our species, but it's like, okay, yeah, they've got different colored skin, different colored hair, but they still walk upright. They're still human. Like, I don't care where you're from. You obviously are a human. Do you know what I mean? And the amount of times that like one group of humans has met another group of humans and just been like, kill them all, murder them, burn them alive, like fucking end them. And it's like, dude, like, what the it's just so wild to me. Like, where's the love, man? What if the thing was based on real events during that Antarctica battle? Because like, I've said, I know, like, people probably get sick of me saying it, but like, you never know when like somebody new is listening. Alien versus Predator, the first one. You know, there's lots of stuff in that I'm like, like, what if, right? Metaphorically, or I'm not saying that the director of the creators of these movies like intend for this to be the thing, but maybe it's just how the shit works. But like, so you have one species that is like very technologically advanced and has a code of ethics and honor and etiquette, even when it comes to slaughtering other species. And then you have another species that is just that dangerous as it is. That like a creature that is naturally straight out the gate, just really fucking tough, really hard to kill, really fucking violent and dangerous, very dangerous. Even one of them. And there's a countless amount of them. Like they show up in fucking hordes. So like, you could, you know, put the humans as the predators, and then something else as the aliens. And the amount of creatures we've come across, like when we entered jungles, we came across tigers, or when we lived in jungles, we had tigers, like depending on what culture or history or whatever, like, you know. So, and then there's myths of like dragons, you know. A lot of our predators were big, or there was multiples of them, you know, like wolves or something. But typically, the predator was large, had claws and fangs, and could easily best us one-on-one, because like we don't have armor, we don't have, and when I mean armor, I mean like natural armor. I mean like we don't have like thick hide. Most, maybe not a cat, like probably a tiger, but like most of the animals would have higher bone density than us. You know, they're like tougher physically. Which is why we, you know, elected to be like, okay, well, I can't go up and punch a buffalo to death. But if 5 of us get really pointy sticks, this thing's fucked, right? It would kind of be like, spiritually balanced, or like karmically ironic that like we plow through all of these vast expansive areas like jungles and deserts and Great Plains, savannas, and like harsh regions like Australia, Africa, Russia. You know, you got snow leopards, fuck not polar bears, fucking like, you know, huge grizzlies and shit, like what are Siberian bears, like, and you got your Asian stuff, like even big snakes like anacondas, like they've been known to fucking kill people. Pygmies mainly, but like you got to be a small nigga to get eaten by an anaconda, or it has to be a really big anaconda. And there are fucking huge anacondas allegedly. I mean, they found crocs that were like 30 feet long, weighed in at like a ton and a half, like bulletproof basically, because their fucking hide is so thick. Look up Gustav, crazy. Brainworm from SETI Alpha 6. Oh, that's the Star Trek thing. Isn't that in the Wrath of Khan as well? Where they put the little fucking... They kind of look like scorpions or something, like... Where they put the thing in your ear. And like, look at the Matrix where they put that like cybernetic squid, you know, prawn thing. Looks like some kind of underwater creature, like with all its like, you know, slender tentacles and shit. Like, and they drop that thing onto his belly button, and it like worms its way inside him. And then, you know, that's one of the things where like Trinity takes it out of him with that machine, and he's like, "Oh my god, that thing's real." Like, how would you know? You know, what are you gonna do? Go get an X-ray? You trust these people? Like, I would literally have to like get my own X-ray machine, and like I'd have to do everything myself, you know, which is like I think that's one of the main lessons of like this life, is that like there's literally a saying, you know, you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, and the whole thing of like offloading responsibility and shit, like not being a victim. We really have like found ourselves in a position where like so many people are on the tit that not only is it like jarring and traumatic and like painful and like costly and all that to try and like get yourself off the tit, but even considering it or talking about it or like giving reasons as to why you might want to do it, people are like, you're crazy. Even though it's totally possible. You know? It's totally possible. You can grow your own food. You can source your own water. Like, in most places. Like, you can do it in a fucking desert, for fuck's sake. So, like, truly the idea of, like, scarcity and all, it seems to be a total lot of bollocks. And it's just invented by people who get to a source of a resource. Like, the origin of a resource, be it, like, gold or oil or food, or you know, like, or like here's one, right? the sand that you would find commercially in a lot of places it's always the same, right? So like your phone, the stuff that goes into your phone at its source is like some incredibly poor, usually black fella who's like mining in really poor conditions, and like it's really affecting his health and shit. And he's got like 6 kids or something like. And it's the same with something as basic as like sand for like a kid's sandbox or something. The sand from that quite probably came from some black dude on a little kayak wooden thing and a steel bucket, and he just goes out about like 500 meters from the shore and just dives down, no gear, no nothing, in water you cannot see in, and just collects sand and then brings it to his like boss or whatever, and they like ship it to other countries. And then you see it in like Smith's toy stores or something. It's like play sand, and it's got kids on it and like bright colors and stuff and all. Like, but like some dude is just like in a hut, and like that's his job. And the idea of him having like even like a car or like maybe even a television, like, do you know what I mean, is like crazy. Like, I just find stuff like that wild. Where like that's like I'm incredibly grateful. Don't get me wrong, like a lot of the time I still like I such a fucking shithead, like as far as I'm concerned, because like I'll find myself getting annoyed at stuff in my daily life, and then I'll like maybe not that day, maybe not a week from then, maybe like a month later, I'll think to myself, I literally can't complain about anything. I mean, like, I've got a roof over my head. I can put the heating on when it's cold. I've got everything I need in terms of like food and resources and shit. It's like, what the fuck am I complaining about? Like, but it doesn't mean that all the shit that I like got really emotional about and really pissed off about the last like 10 years didn't warrant, me being like, that's fucked. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that, like, even before COVID, when I was like, man, this is really fucked up. Like, the government doing this and, like, foreign aid and, like taxes and shit. Like, so much of the way we live is, like, so jacked. Like, what the fuck? That's all still true. But it's like, you can't let it get to you. You can't let it change. Realizing how messed up real life is traumatizing. And like I think there is a truth to, like, I don't want to say intellect or IQ, but like I don't know how else to describe it though, but I think the more aware, maybe it's just imagination or something, I don't know, but like people like me, I think it's harder for us to accept reality in some aspects. Because it just doesn't compute. You get left standing there and you're just like, you put your hands on your head and you're like, this cannot work. This is insane. What is wrong with these people? But it works. Like, and you're like, how does it work? Well, they want it to work, so it works. And it's like, but the needless waste, the destruction, the tragedy, the fucking suffering, like, it's just so wrong. Yeah, but it's there. Like, and that's where it makes sense, because it's a choice. It's like, some people want to live like this and some people want to live like this. It's like, figure out which one you are, and just be grateful for what you got and, like, have faith and shit. Like, it's very simple. Which is just as well, because like when you have to like remind yourself of that, it's like, oh my god, this shit's so fucked up. Like, and you have to just be like, it's okay though. Like, I completely agree with that. Like, the biggest conspiracy, like the real conspiracy theory, the meta conspiracy, is that it's all fine. It's all gonna be okay, because like, it doesn't even if you believe half the shit that we've been told, like, it doesn't matter how far we go, how fucked up we get, how hard we try to mess it up, like either intentionally or accidentally, like it always just naturally balances out. Time plus how this realm works eventually cancels out anything we fucking try to do. I think like it's almost like our species is still in its adolescence collectively, and we're still getting used to like this place and what it is, and like the responsibilities of being alive and being human and all this shit. Like, I wonder if there ever will come a time where like the majority of us are just like saintly, you know. The majority of us have like a functioning household with a wife and children, and there's only like a rare anomaly, a subset of people who just like still kind of like can't handle how awesome everything is. Cause cause life is incredible. When you stop thinking about like daily stresses or like even egotistical stuff, like I don't like this and I don't like that, and like why is this like and you be like, you have that like kind of moaning fucking curmudgeon gremlin-esque moods where you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, like not even like must be nice, but it's more like just fed up, you know. It's not jealousy, it's like frustration and lack of patience. Don't get me wrong, I like sniping in video games and stuff like that. I'd love to do it, well, I have done it once in real life, but it's like, even somebody like me who'll sit there for a long time and wait for a shot, or draw something 15 times before I paint it for the first time, and then paint it 3 times just to get it the way I want it. Even somebody like me has like, you know, a point where my patience runs out. And I'm pretty patient, like, don't get me wrong, I'm probably nowhere near as patient as like a fucking really well-grounded nurse in a fucking hospice or something, you know. All the smells, putting up people with dementia and fucking Alzheimer's and falling all the time, you know, like cleaning people's shit and piss and sick up, and you know, I always thought that was like, I think the most noble, strongest people are people like that, who like carers and workers and stuff like that. Like, but then that's also the place where you get some of the most fucked up individuals who like take advantage of people like that, you know. Like, some of the most messed up stories I've ever heard are like some guy who worked in a old folks home, and he was like raping 6 of them over the space of like years. Like, like part of me is always just like, dude, what the fuck? Of all the ways to spend your time, raping grannies, Jesus. Like, a nigga tries to come in and like, aren't you supposed to be giving me a sponge bath? Sponge this, bitch. Like, what the fuck? Like, some people are just tapped. Like, how could you do that and go home that day and like sleep well? Like, should I be lying there looking at the ceiling being like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, no. Your victim consciousness allows you to, like, you know, rationalize it, because it's not your fault that you're completely fucked in the head. Like, you know, Jesus Christ. That's how I take Jesus' words when he said, you are no part of this world. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, like, not that I know how consciousness works or anything, but like, I've seen dead bodies. I saw the corpse of my grandmother, my grandfather, and my godfather, and a few others, but I wasn't like really close to them. And when I saw the corpse of my grandmother, forget the fact that the makeup they did on her made her look like a fucking clown, and she didn't wear makeup, you know, which was just like, it was just like, what the fuck have you done to my grandmother? But like, it doesn't look or feel like them. It literally does just feel like an empty vessel. And maybe am I like slightly sociopathic or like psychopathic? You know, that I'm the kind of person to be like, No, like Nan's not in there anymore. Nan's gone. I don't know where she is, and I really miss her right now, and I feel like shit. But like that thing that's lying in that box is like not her. Doesn't look like her. Doesn't feel like her. Like, you know, and I when I say feel, I mean like energetically, like because there's no energy there anymore. Like, you know, you go into the room and like she's inanimate. The animus is gone. It's like, where'd it go? Like, oh, it's just gone. Yeah, but like where? Like dudes who know this shit, like, you know, like the whole law, like was it the law of thermodynamics and all that fucking shit, where it's like energy can't be destroyed; it can only transform or transfer. You know, nothing actually ever gets what we would call like annihilated. And I think that's why like the only thing like a vampire or a god could fear is like hypothetically like oblivion. You know, is nothingness. And like, does nothingness even exist in this place? Like, even in the vastness of supposed, like, you know, NASA's space, there's still stuff there. Everywhere. I mean, it's even they fucking, you know, admit to allegedly there being like dust particles flying around at millions of miles an hour that could like wipe out a fucking city if it hits something with that much kinetic force, even though it's infinitesimally small. But somehow your satellites are just able to fucking float around all the time. Like, oh, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Oh, gross. Some of us have a higher sensitivity to the differential than others. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I think I am. Like, I'm just an incredibly sensitive person. Um, incredibly gay. Fucking like when you frame it like that. But I think that is true. I think I am. I think I can feel stuff that other people can't feel, or just don't know how to feel. I think it's more likely that like. I think if you experience certain things in life, you become aware of shit. Kind of like, you know, people who have like a near death experience, they can like see things, or they can like feel things, or they've seen stuff while they were dead or whatever, and now like they're just completely different in some way. I don't have a near death experience, but like I've had like weird moments, just weird moments, and like I've had shit happen to me and around me that has made me fundamentally question just about fucking everything. Like even when I was a kid, like when I realized Santa wasn't real, I remember like for a while I was like, so what else is like that? That can't like Santa can't be the only thing that's like, and like the first thing you think of is like, so is Jesus like that? You know, because I grew up in Ireland, and like the Roman Catholic Church is like huge here. You know, so there's loads of Catholics here, and Jesus is everywhere. You know, Jesus, Mother Mary, all this fucking shit, all this like real somber, weird looking. I always thought the Catholic iconography and like decorations and imagery and idols and all this stuff was incredibly not just like, don't get me wrong, there is an element of like melancholic beauty, but for the most part it was just fucking creepy, and like churches were always freezing cold, and like the pews are incredibly uncomfortable, and like there's this whole idea of just like you're gonna burn in hell, suffer, and like look at him, he was in so much pain, he did that for you, like, you know, like you, oh god, like there was just this overwhelming sense of like, you know, you should submit and just do what you're told, you know. And it's like, what the fuck, like where did that come from? Like, who the fuck are you people? And like, I didn't fucking do anything, you know. Like, I don't know what me dad, me granddad, or the people before us did, but I didn't fucking do anything. I'm 9, leave me the fuck alone. Like, I just like, it's so crazy. Imagine, like, that's why people don't trust, typically, you don't trust, like, religious types or preachers or anything, like, because when they're really intense like that, they're like, God, belief, faith, and you, and the book, and the words, and and you're just like, relax, will you? Like, you don't even, we all know, like, by admitting that it's faith-based, you cannot be that fucking zealot. You cannot have that much zeal about faith. I don't think it works like that. If you don't have faith, you're horrible. It's like, well, what if they just don't believe? What if they have a perfectly good reason for being a bit skeptical? Like, no, heretic, demon. It's like, I mean, when you say that what we have to believe in is X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z is like pretty fucking wild. Like, you can't even tell me what God looks like. You can only tell me what collectively all his representatives allegedly looked like. And then you hear that, like, Jesus didn't look like that at all. It's like, no matter what you encounter, what you're talking about, like, it's like since Santa Claus, I've just been looking at my environment and going, so it's all a lie? like, not just the fat dude in the red suit with the fucking, snow gremlins making everybody's toys. Like, it's like the financial system, society at large, all known religions, fucking, like, everything, the food you eat, like fucking everything. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, of course people are going crazy. Like, look how I'm dealing with life. Like, I dress up as a samurai and paint shit on the internet. Like, this is how I, this is therapy to me in a lot of ways. I don't know if you've noticed. But, like, the ability to authentically and genuinely just, like, share yourself with the world. But at the same time, it's funny that Owen was only talking about this, because I was recently thinking about this, where I'm like, I wonder how the dynamic's going to play out over the years of the difference between welcome to PEINTEINGU, I am a defender, the my god of painting, like, all that shit, versus me just, like, sitting here and ranting, You'll have all these people that be like, that, that think I'm trying to pull some kind of grift by, like, playing a character and then not playing a character and then playing a character and not playing a character. Like, I can imagine somebody being like, he does that so he can get away with all the mad shit he says. Like, most of the mad shit I say is just me. I know I'm still in costume, but, like, you can tell that I've kind of dropped the characters most of the time, like, oh, here we go, he's ranting again, it's like, then all of a sudden the Jap comes back. Right, enough ranting, time for tunage. Like, it's like, oh, is it over? Oh, God. Ah, Emmanuel, welcome. I had a look at the order that you ordered me, like, fucking a load of paint. Fair fucking play to you, man. Better be good paint. I'm only messing. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised when I looked at the email. I was like, oh shit, they fucking fair play. Like, I am humbled and grateful for your support, Emmanuel. It is greatly appreciated. Don't worry, I'll let you know when it turns up. And I usually do, like, unboxing stuff on the stream as well, Hey, look what Emmanuel got me, guys. That kind of thing. The fact that I unboxed protein powder and 3 silver coins. Oh, shout out to Denmark Bear. What a legend. We need to fatten you up. I'm going to send you some protein. Didn't work. I pounded that shit and I was doing dips and pull-ups and squats. I'm jacked. Still fucking freezing cold, though. Oh. I need natural fire. I need a house that I could just have a natural fire in. our fireplace isn't exactly usable. Even after we got the fucking chimney cleaned, I was very skeptical to like get a fire going in it, but it doesn't even have a grate or anything, so we have to like see if we can get one that fits before we can even try it out. Because otherwise we'd just be starting a fire in a what is essentially a cave in the wall. Like, which like I don't really care. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't see like, sure, it doesn't have the stuff to like fall, but like I don't know. Like I know that's not the way you're supposed to do it. Like, but I wanted to do it just to test it, but she was like, no, just use the heating. It's like, fuck it, whatever. Like, I'd love to have a proper fireplace. I miss going to my grandparents' house around Christmas time, and it was just this like roaring fire in the sitting room. The light off of like real fire is like healing. I want to get a cat. Been pondering it for a while now. I had a dog for years, but I'd love to get a cat now. And I've heard their purring is like healing and shit. Like the last like while I've like really I've really gotten into the concept, like the idea of like healing myself of all this years of like sitting around doing fuck all, consuming all this crap and the various emotional and mental traumas that was inflicted upon me by people who were supposed to care about me. Like, that whole thing of like, was it blood is thicker than water and all this crap, and like, you'd hear people be like, yeah, but he's family. Fuck family. After something like COVID, like, definitely, but even before COVID, like when my parents got divorced and I seen how everybody like behaved, like when I was still a teenager, I was like 14 when my dad left, and then because they have to be separated for a certain amount of time in Ireland because the church was still like is, as far as I know, still in control in a legal sense. So it's like you can't just get divorced. You have to be like legally separated for a while and then get a divorce, and it's like this whole process. It's to kind of like encourage you to work it out and stay together, but actually the practice, all it does is like make everybody resent each other because it ends up costing a lot of money and being a lot of stress, and if anything it just makes like fights even worse because now you're involving the state in your private affairs. Typically it's just a bad time, like, and what that does to the kids is crazy, because like what it does to the adults is also crazy. So you have all these adults acting like petulant, jealous, entitled fucking lunatics, and thankfully, we didn't really get it taken out on us that much. I wouldn't say, like, you could argue that my mother took it out on me and my sister for years, but like in a sense, it's not like we got beaten or anything. She was just a shopaholic and a pathological liar. Like, which one could argue is worse to handle. But it's fascinating to me now looking back and having like, a functioning frontal lobe, being able to like look back and assess things, and also be aware in my everyday life of my own actions and behaviors and thoughts and assess them, and trying to create some kind of chronologically congruent story arc of my life, and like be like, okay, so the beginning was a little bit of a mixed bag, but like we're on a good trajectory right now. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want an easy life, but for the last few years I've definitely had the mindset of like, I really need to like take a breather and heal before I can like tackle life again. And I'd say a lot of people who struggled with suicide for a while, even like not even a year really, probably wasn't even 6 months. There was just like a couple of month period where I was like really like, right, buying a rope, fuck this, I'm about to make an ornament out of myself on a tree in the forest. Like, I'm about to turn myself into a really depressing Christmas decoration. Like, obviously I'm like delighted that I didn't do it, but I nearly did. And for a while, I like thought that made me weak, you know, even contemplating it. Like, I didn't try it. I didn't have like a test run, you know. Need a bigger chair. No, it didn't happen. But I did buy a rope. And lied about the purchase of the rope. I was like, what you need a big nylon rope for? Oh, exercising. My neck. Like, it'd be great for, like, you know, plyometrics and shit. Like, oh, God. Like, how funny is that the method of, you know, like, if we were to execute someone for years, we'd, like, hung them. And that's the thing that people go through, like, typically for suicide. You would think a punishment would be the type of thing that nobody would want to inflict upon themselves. Is it just me that thinks that? That thinks that, like, correlation is a bit odd? You have done something wrong to society. You have committed a sin. We will punish you. How are we going to do that? We'll strangle you till you stop moving and breathing and thinking. Till you just stop. And then someone who's, like, incredibly depressed, or, like, and it doesn't need to be depression, it could be, like, despair. Desperate despair, where, like, you know, you could be, like, this horrible fucking thief and a liar and all this shit, and, like, you finally get found out, and you're like, oh my god, I can't handle this, everybody's gonna hate me, I can't deal with this shit, and then you kill yourself. But you choose a method that is actually a form of societal punishment. Am I the only one that finds that incredibly ironic? This is your therapy. Never would have guessed. Don't you fucking lie to me, Sabaru. It's not the worst paint. I used it before. Well, like, I had a look at the thing, and the liquid acrylic shit are usually pretty fucking good, so I'm excited. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna see, you know, just your basic, like, fucking acrylic, and not that I still wouldn't have been grateful, but, like, I was surprised to be like, oh, he actually fucking made the effort to buy some slick shit, like, you know, or at least the cheap version of slick shit. I had both kittens laying beside me when I was sick in bed, purring away. I'm pretty sure they helped me feel better. I wouldn't be surprised if that, like, expedited your healing. You know, and even, like, think about it, like, you know, the whole, like, placebo thing. It's like, if something is making you feel better, therefore thinking better and stuff like that, that does actually make you heal quicker. The second you start thinking in your head, I'm better now, you start getting better. The second you start thinking in your head, oh, I'm sick, you immediately get more sick. You know, it's funny how that shit works. It's funny how delusion and, like, deception, self-deception and shit can work. Like, you know, you can, like, brainwash yourself. You can, like, hack your own mind and all these things. I don't think it's good to try and do stuff like that. I don't think it's good to try and trick yourself. I think that's a bad practice. I think in being authentic and genuine, you naturally learn how to navigate problems and stresses and obstacles and stuff. And that makes sense, because, like, if you're playing a video game and you're like, okay, I can't jump over it, I can't go around it, do I have to go under it? Okay, like, looks like I can go under it, like, how do I go under it? Oh, I have to press these buttons or get this item or whatever like that. Like, if you just play by the rules and you're just honest and you're like, you know, I need to do this, this, and this, then you will accomplish the task and you will get better and you will move through the game. But if you sit there and you bitch and moan about the solution to the problem not being obvious and you not understanding and, like, all these fucking things, like I've been there. I remember when I was younger, like, fucking roaring and, like, I have done it in recent years. But, like, it'd be from the, like, more of a criticism of a poorly constructed mechanic in a game or some shit like that, which is valid in modern gaming. Where, like, why do I remember playing games in the fucking 90s and now I'm playing games and I'm like, how did you fuck that up? Why, like, what, why? Like, I've never seen a menu this convoluted and shit, and they've been making video games for like 40 years now. What the fuck is going on? Like, it's funny to be like, but there was definitely times when I was younger where like, oh, this is so fucking stupid. Fuck this game and all. It's like, get good, scrub. Like, like stop bitching and just accomplish the task. Like, pay attention. See what needs to be done in order to complete the objective and just do it. Like, what the fuck? Like, I even feel like that sometimes about my work now. You know? I have to sketch this, I have to draw this, I have to paint this, I have to fucking do this on that. Like, the stuff I like doing the least, the stuff that I am least fond of in my everyday activities is like the admin and like the downloading episode, anything to do with like IT. like basic, just looking at loading screens, and you're looking at bars loading, you're looking at files, and you're looking at text, and you just have to like sort a load of shit out. Put this over here, type this again, type this again, type this again, fucking copy paste, put this over there, bring this image over here, email yourself this thing so that it's on the computer so you can use this and all. Like, and oh, it could be so fucking boring and tedious. Like, that's my issue. That's one of my major issues, is like, I'm one of those ADHD fucking kids that like, boredom infuriates me. Like, I'm like, we're alive, the world is amazing, why the fuck am I sitting here listening to you doing nothing? You know, like, that's genuinely how I was for like most of my life. It's just like, that's why I drew so much. I was like, my time is better spent doodling something that has flames and skulls and spikes than listening to you blather on about shit. Like, but then every so often it's like, oh, this is interesting. Like, you could easily say that it's like a narcissistic, arrogant quality of mine to be like, you are not holding my attention. This is bad. I need to entertain myself. Like, instead of having the discipline to be like, okay, I know he's putting me asleep gradually, like fucking a drip of chloroform, but like, because there's always those teachers that, like, no matter the subject matter, like, my German teacher was the worst. My German teacher was the fucking worst. Just this, like, rake thin, ugly woman with a bob in her 60s that's just like, right, okay, wir haben ein Übermachen, like, fucking, like, you know, like, right, okay. I probably told this story before, but it's hilarious. This bitch used to say right, okay, so much, like, almost at the end of every fucking word or sentence. It didn't even need to be a whole sentence. She'd just go, yes, right, okay. Like, so one of the lads brought in what, do any of you remember where there was a time years ago, you know, circa 2006 2010, where Lynx, it's Axe for you guys, but Lynx, the body spray, came out with these clicker counter things. Like, it's one of the, it's like a steel counter that you just click and it goes 1, you click, it goes 2, so on and so forth, and then you could reset it. So you could just count. They were cool. Like they were it's a handy little fucking thing. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a fucking egg timer. Like, they're just one of those things. It's like, oh, that's a cool little gadget. One of the guys brought this into the classroom, and every time she said right or okay, he clicked it. And by the end of one class, it was on stupid, like, it was on something stupid like nearly 100. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he got it well up into the 70s or some shit. Like, you know, like, click, click, click. And like, at one point she did go, what's that noise? And he's just like, you know, huh? What? Like, oh, some of the fucking shit that happened in school where, like, because of the perspective, where, like, the teacher's up there and you guys are back here, and there's, like, rows and levels, so the teacher's vision is obscured in certain ways. The fucking genius shit that some fucking students would do to, like, get away with doing shit. Like, when I seen the first it was a girl, like two rows ahead of me, one to the left. So I had an angle on her, like I could see her ear and her hand, and she was like this, and she had like threaded the earphone up her sleeve. So as long as she just rested her hand on her head on her hand like this, you couldn't tell that she was listening to music while we were doing study period, like. And I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, "You fucking genius!" Like, that is brilliant. Like, I'll just CIA the shit out of this and conceal my music, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, things that like think about that. Like, school was so fucking tediously, unattractively boring slop that people, like kids, would constantly find a workaround. It's exactly like prison. It's literally exactly the same as prison. You get 3 hots. You get 3 hots, but no ca. Like, it's fucking. You don't even get 3 hots. You know, it's like BYOB. It's like bring your own fucking. Bring your own lunch and all. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and then they criticize you. Like, they came in one time and they were like, "Everybody, open your lunch boxes. Too many of you are eating too much junk food." And it's like, are you fucking serious? I need all of this sugar to stay awake during your English class. Not true. It was German. English was cool. I liked English. My best friend's brother went about it another way last Feb. Oh, committed suicide? Your best friend's brother committed suicide last February? How'd he do it? Did he, like, crash his car or something? PEINTEINGU seppuku. I should do that. Like, fuck it. Not literally, obviously. Seppuku. I should do that. It's about time I disemboweled myself. I should faux fucking seppuku live on stream one time. It'd be so funny. Like, if I could do a proper anime style and get like some fucking special effects shit, have blood squirting all over the place, it'd be fucking hilarious. I could like pretend I'm having a really bad day. Like, the Monkey King has sent me a letter. Apparently, despite my attempts at helping you mortars to karmically make up for my painting the Monkey King's penis. I didn't just paint his penis. I painted a portrait. It's not my fault he has a tiny penis. It'd just be so. Imagine the fucking. I don't know who's like in charge in Chinese heaven. You know, maybe you could let me know. I'll ask Google later. But like the head nigga in Chinese heaven sends me a letter, and it's like, I don't want you to get your hopes up. Like, you will never be allowed back in Chinese heaven. And I'm just reading it live on stream. I get little like spectacles, like, you know, we're like, and then just finish reading it and be like, right, leave for a moment, come back, and just commit seppuku and just end the stream. And I mean a violent seppuku, like, you know, like a fucking totally over the top anime style seppuku, where like the second I pierce my stomach, it's just like, like we're underwater and I open the valve. Oh god. My best. Sadly, I think some self endings are a show of hatred of life. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Years ago, I happened upon a guy who did himself in his car in a parking lot. For years, I thought about why do that in public that way. Yeah. Like, could you imagine hanging yourself in public? Fuck. Like, you wait till the dead of night or something, and then you fucking rig yourself up on a fucking lamppost, like a traffic light or some shit. So, like, everybody in the morning just, like, sees you until somebody calls the cops and cuts you down or something, like. You're ending yourself with a fucking... Like, did he shoot himself in his car, yeah? I'm assuming so. That's wild. complete disregard for like, at least I was gonna hang myself in a fucking, amongst some trees. You wouldn't have been able to see me unless you actually went looking. That's how the fucking Japs do it. Like, time to kill myself in private. Like, I remember there was like his hilarious fucking that's after him reminding me of something that like at the time I found so funny. I was crying. There's this video game called Prototype. There's 2 of them, really good games, loads of fun. It's essentially a superhero simulator. Well, kind of an anti-hero superhero simulator where you play as this guy called Alex Mercer, who's been infected with this virus, or this like serum. Essentially, he's been experimented on by the government, and it allows him to. He's kind of like Venom, but like more dangerous because he can like change shape and like disguise himself as other people. Oof. Honey. I'm gonna get more coffee in a minute. It's gonna be a long goo. You can disguise yourself as other people, like Hitman style. Like, well, obviously not Hitman style. In Hitman, you just change clothes, which is hilarious. But you can literally, like, you're like a mimic, but you can change shape and, like, tentacles. And think of, like, a cross between Venom and Carnage. I suppose you could just think of Carnage, if you don't know who Carnage is. Fucking, how else would I describe it? A molecular level control of manipulation and mimicry, to the point where, like, Wolverine level healing. Like, you can get shot in the hole of clothes right up. You can, like, snatch people from like 30 feet away because you can extend your arm out and all, like crazy fucking fantasy alien shit. Like, really cool game. But I just, like, in particular remember this one time that me and a mate of mine were playing it, and it was fucking hilarious, where there's a thing in that game where, like, you can just put, like, there's an untold amount of civilian death in these games. It's like a lot of dark humor. And you can pick up a civilian and, like, hold them, like just by the neck, like superhero style. It's like, you mortal. And, they're like, oh, all helpless and shit. My friend was, like, playing one time, and I was just sitting there watching him. We were just taking shots of it, like, chilling out. And he picked up a civilian and just goes, I will do this in private. And, like, started legging it up the side of a building with the person. And the person's just, like the ragdoll physics on the civilian, like, are fucking... It's so funny looking. Just sprinting up the side of a building with some black guy. Like, I think it was a black dude in, like, a grey suit. Like, I will do this in private. Just scales a building and gets to the roof and there's no one around. And then just brutally murders him. Like, it was so fucking funny. Like, the shit you can do in that game is hilarious. Like, you can straight up just, like, pick up a fucking granny and, like, throw her about fucking 200 miles an hour into a building. Like, I spent hours doing that when I first played it, where, like, you'd look for, like, an elderly person crossing the road or something, be like, you! Just pick her up and immediately turn towards, like, the side of a bank or something, like, these huge concrete buildings that just have sheer vertical 90-degree walls, just like cement, like flat cement, shiny flat cement, like fucking marble or some shit, like, and just fucking slap her off the thing at like 200 miles an hour. You just reduce a whole grandmother to a stain on a wall in about 2 seconds. It's fucking the sound effects and all, like, oh man, games used to be so much better. Like, games used to be like, it's like movies. People used to just sit in a creator's room and just be like, what if, and then you get a game and you're like, it's just fucking amazing. Like, these days it's like, how can we appeal to the modern audience? There is no modern audience, you dicks. I have a clicking counter. Good on you, Margie. Good on you. What do you use to, like, what do you count? Or do you count anything? Does it just sit there and count nothing? Is its life meaningless? A 308. He shot himself with a 308. Zoinks, that's a big round. I mean, like, yeah, that's like, I want to make damn sure I'm not coming back. Like, I mean, yeah, if you don't have access to a shotgun, 308, like, so he stuck a rifle barrel in his head and just pulled the trigger. Jesus fucking Christ. I'd say, I wonder what's the statistics on, like, planned suicides versus impulsive suicides. Because I honestly think that's one of the downsides to everybody having a gun in America. Well, not everybody, but, like, I think the downside to people having access to guns is if you're having a bad day, like, and you're that way inclined, it's such a temptation. Like, if you find yourself in that mindset, there's just going to be a voice, like, there's just going to be a demon in your head being like, just get the gun out of the drawer, and just, like, just one squeeze, it's all gone, it all stops. It'd be very tempting, you know? So much easier and quicker than hanging yourself or slitting your wrists or any of these things. It's like, all you got to do is just, like, put it against your head and squeeze the trigger, man. Like, it's like pressing a button. It's, like, all over. So easy. And, like, look at society. Look how, like, most people go, you know, so I could do this or this. Oh, I'll just do that. I mean, that's easier. That's more convenient. Like, it's not, yeah, it's the convenience thing. It's not necessarily the ease of it. Because obviously, like, you know, you could argue that, like, shooting yourself in the head isn't an easy thing to do. Depend on your mindset, obviously. But I'd love to see the statistics on something like that, where it's like, do people, like, is there more people that go, I'm going to kill myself, and then they, like, pick a day, and then they, like, buy a rope and, like, pick a spot. You know, I'm gonna hang myself. Like, my godfather hung himself in his own garage. So, like, and, like, typically that's how you see it. It's like they go somewhere secluded and end it. You know. So that is it's kind of wild when you see the people who just, like, they're sitting in their sitting room or something, they just blow their head off, and then, like, the cleaner or the wife comes home, or, like, God forbid, the kids walk in, they're like, oh my God, there's just a body sitting there with a stump just bleeding. Like, do you ever hear I remember hearing this story years ago of this guy who had a brain tumor, and, you know, they were telling him that you're gonna die, it's terminal, you've got about 6 months to a year, there's nothing we can do, we can't operate because it's, like, sitting on your brainstem, all this fucking shit. And he grabbed a 44 Magnum and, like, sat down somewhere and shot him, like, put the gun in his mouth and shot himself. And then woke up in hospital, and they were like, okay, so good news, no more tumor, so there's that. Bad news, you've got a hole, you know, in your head where you shot yourself and you're bleeding, so we need to fix that. But yeah, no more tumor. I've heard a few of those things, like, you know, where, like, somebody gets into a car crash and, like, they're fucking like their fucking persistent headaches stop or some weird shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, or they've been having health issues and it's just something random happens and then all of a sudden, like, just gone. Like, it's weird. It drove up to the mountains and Control-Alt-Delete. Like, that's hilarious. Get a garden hose with ketchup in your kimono for the theatrical step. A garden hose with ketchup. That's, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's gas. Yeah, drove up to the mountains and Control-Alt-Delete. Yeah, well, at least he drove up there and, you know, into a secluded spot. Control-Alt-Delete is hilarious. R-Type was a great game. That sounds very familiar. I've never played it, though. or type. R-type or type. I don't want to be alive, but I also don't want to be a bother. Yeah, the Japanese. Yeah, like, but that's, dude, that was seriously my mindset. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore, but I also don't want to, like, I don't want to cut. I've never. No, I can't say that. Or can I? I'm not sure. Typically, like, pretty much most, like, all the time, I've never, like, there may be one time where I was, like, really resentful of my mother or my father or some shit, or, like, you know, my first girlfriend, where I was, like, still really fucking emotional and, like, had that Scorpio, like, vengeance shall be mine fucking attitude, like, but I've never been the type of person to be like, I don't care about other people. I've always been like, oh, like, oh, I want to do this. I want, like, you know, oh, I want to stop it all. Whatever. Like, I'm sick of this shit. But then immediately would be like, but that's wrong, and everybody would be so sad, and, like, it's not going to make anything better, and then you start contemplating, well, like, well, what happens when you do it? Like, do you know what I mean? Am I going to make my situation worse? Am I just going to be gone? And it's like oblivion. Is that worse than being here? Like, do you know, it's contemplating it is fucked up, like, you know. But I'm glad I did, like, in the sense that, like, I'm glad I wasn't the type to just be impulsively really upset one day and just, like, do it. I, like, thought about it. I'm like, I've always been very, like, cerebral and, like, analytical. Because, like, I like making the right move. I like making the right decisions. I like winning. I like being efficient. I like doing things with, like, you know, efficiency and style and panache and, like, artistry, you know. So, like, when it comes to something like that, I still use the same mental framework where I'm like, okay, what's the optimal way? Like, it's like, there is no optimal way. The optimal way is not doing it, you fuck. He either shot himself or cut himself and bled out. There was a bit of blood coming out on the door. I could tell he was gone, but I didn't look more closely. I'd say that's crazy. I've never like happened upon somebody who's killed themselves. I'd say that was, like, fucking jarring as fuck. Like, you get that, like, shiver down your spine of, like, oh fuck, that's real. Oh fuck. When I came back by there after the cops had his body out under a tarp, I could see a lot more blood in the car, but I didn't ask the method. I was kind of weirded out. It was a long time ago. Kind of weirded out? Yeah, tell me about it. Like, anybody would be. You'd be like, whoa. I saw a guy throw himself onto the bridge deck in front of my car on my drive home last year. Was a rough couple of... I saw a guy throw himself onto the bridge deck in front of my car on the drive home last year. What does that mean? The bridge deck? Like, so what? You were like... you were driving home from work and someone threw himself onto the... There's, like, a lower section from the bridge or some shit, is there? So you saw this dude, like, hit the ground? See him go splat. Never give in to despair. Fight every day. Yeah, like, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's like you're fighting your ego. You're arguing with your ego. You know, your ego's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks. It's like, yeah, but why though? Like, I'm not satisfied and I'm not happy, and, you know, like, every day is, like, just, like, a fucking struggle for some reason. Or if I have a good day, it's outweighed by all the bad shit. Like, you know, I've been let down, disappointed, betrayed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter, like, what decisions I make or what I try to do that's better. Every time I try to improve myself, it fucking blows up in my face. Or it turns out that, like, it's just a different form of suffering. You know, like, and it's... You're trying to rationalize an insane decision because, like, no, well, I don't know that for a fact, but like it doesn't seem logical for a creature to self-delete, because it's like, isn't the point of life to be alive? Like, you know what I mean? Why would you like kill yourself? Like, but then it's funny, isn't it, how religion has kind of like subverted that with like, yes, but if you kill yourself, like, in the defense or for other people, well, that's the best thing you could ever do. Like, don't get me wrong, if you're like holding a bridge against like, you know, fucking bandits trying to raid your fucking kingdom or some shit, like if you're literally in a position where, okay, if I don't like stay here and sacrifice myself, then we're all dead. Like, then I get it. That to me isn't a martyr. That's like a noble sacrifice. Is like, if I stand here and hold them here, they will get away. The boat is right there. Once they get on the boat, they're not going to catch them. So I'm going to stand here and I'm going to kill as many as I can. And I'm probably going to die. Like, that's noble as fuck. You know? Because your death serves a purpose at that point. And I know Christians would argue, it's like, oh, well, Jesus, like, you know, fulfilled, and, you know, he was showing us this and showing us that and all, like, and... But what if they just framed it that way? What, like, you know, what if the dude that they flayed and, like, crucified and speared and all wasn't even Jesus? What if it was all just, like, a patsy thing? I don't know. The Rosicrucian stuff is really interesting. When I heard about the fact that there's actually, like, you know, apparently like a line of Jesus, like his family members and shit, like, that's what's fascinating. That's when I first started listening to the Goo. You guys all lifted me out of a long funk. All the bears and my family were a big help. No way, you started listening to me like right after you saw a guy kill himself. Jesus Christ. Happy to be of service. There's a documentary from the early 2000s where a guy set up a camera filming the Golden Gate Bridge for a year and caught a bunch of jumpers called The Bridge. Sad, dark stuff. That is intense. That is intense. A documentary. Like, I'm just going to record this bridge for a while. Fucking... Oh, there goes another one. Oh, there goes another one. Holy shit. Glad he didn't land on you. That's like a double whammy sin. Ending yourself and accidentally ending someone you land on. Yeah, like, could you imagine being the guy that got killed by a guy killing himself? And you get to heaven and like, you're like standing beside each other. It's like, I don't know who this fucking prick is, but I'm not supposed to be here. If it wasn't for this fucking dipshit coward, I'd still be down there fucking drinking that latte. Like, what the fuck is this shit like? Oh, that'd be horrible. I was driving under the bridge and he threw himself about 120 feet onto the lower highway. Oh, water was 100 feet to my right. He wanted a spectacle. Police stopped me and everyone else in preparation. Fuck, they were trying to talk him down. Ooh. Yeah, oof. Yeah, definitely maxed out. Like, oof. Like, fuck. Like, you're like just driving along being like, oh, I wonder what the missus is going to make for dinner today. Oh. Like, God damn. Yeah, like, but that's it. I can't be the only one. Like, obviously I'm not, because like at least Max is, but like, am I the only one that like when the really dark shit starts like being spoken about or happens in your vicinity, I just start laughing. I swear to God. Like, that's my natural reaction. If I see something wild or if something like crazy is being spoken about, I'm like, ha, that's crazy. Like, I don't tend to get all like, oh no, that's really dark. And like, because I've seen that happen in a room full of people where I start talking about something and like the fucking vibe just changes. And then I'm sitting there going, well, like, it's all kind of crazy, isn't it? Ha 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 ha. Oh shit. Like, it's not like, because I'm not like that. Like, I don't like, It's like the whole thing, you know, when somebody's eating food and like you're like watching a film or something, and then something visually disturbing happens, or there's like a fucking like a, you know, somebody gets sick. That's like somebody vomits. That's a really triggering one for a lot of people, where they're like, oh no, like, oh, not while I'm eating, like, oh. Or like even you could be eating with people and somebody could start talking about something. It's like, Jesus Christ, I had a shit last night. It was fucking intense. I was like, dude, I'm trying to eat my burrito. Like, what the fuck? I'm not like that. Like, I tell you what has become a fairly recent thing with me, though. I think I've mentioned this before. Since my ordeal with having the hernia and being on a waiting list, and then like going into the hospital and them cutting me open and fixing it, but then like I got a fucking like flesh-eating bacteria thing on my hands and feet, and then had to go back in because they like left excess stitches in me, and then they were claiming like, actually we didn't, it's just that you don't have enough fat on you. Like, what was it she said? Typically our patients have more fat on them. I was like, are you actually trying to make me feel bad for having a six-pack? Are you fucking serious? Like, you're gonna give me shit for being like lean? Fuck off. Like, but yeah, I think I have some kind of like mental trauma from the hospital, because now when I'm watching or listen, it's more when I'm listening, which is weird to me. I can see something violent happen and I'm fine. But if someone is describing the process of something medical, I start to feel really weird and faint. And that didn't used to happen. So I've noticed that about myself, where I'm like, I have an aversion to like the medical field, you know, just in general, like even like surgeries and stuff like that, the flesh and blood, and like anytime someone's talking about, or do you know what, actually, it's not just, there was one visual that recently got me, and I think somebody was like bleeding to death, and I for a moment it felt like I was bleeding to death, just briefly. I got this like draining feeling, and I was like, Jesus, what the fuck. I found that fascinating because it wasn't always like that. And as far as I could tell, it was after it was after like my experience with the hospital, which I found fascinating. I was like, have I got some kind of like you know, deer survived an attack from a lion, my nervous system hasn't recovered kind of thing? Like, do I have like a small amount of like PTSD from like being in that environment and like being at the, essentially being like, you know, at the whim, like being at the mercy of like, you know, strangers in a dirty, depressing environment. Like, to like when you go to a hospital and it feels dirty, it's just like so messed up. Like my mind is like, hospitals are a place of healing. They should be clean and everybody should be calm and like, you know, reassuring, and like, you know, that's where the whole bedside manner shit comes from. It's like, you could come in with like a pipe sticking out of your midriff and like bleeding all over the place, and the pipe could have rust on it, so there's like a risk of infection. And like, you could also have like inadvertently fucking, you know, fallen into a lot of like radioactive material. And like, what you want, the experience that you want, is when you end up in trauma or the hospital, the guy look like, no matter how bad you look, you want the assessing surgeon or doctor to just like look at you and be like, hey buddy, so you had a rough day? Don't worry, we're gonna fix you right up. You know, even if he knows in his head that you are fucked 7 ways to Sunday, how he should be is like, hey dude, you doing okay? Like, I see you got a pipe hanging out of your gut there. Like, how'd you manage that one? Because like, that would, the reassurance that somebody is in control, that somebody knows what they're doing. Like, but the attitude that I've experienced is like, I can't believe I have to deal with you. I can't believe I'm still in this hospital. I've been here for so long and I work so hard and I'm so sick of this shit. Like, you just get the vibe off of most of them that they hate their job, they hate you, you know, like, and it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to heal in this environment? Like, do you know what I mean? It's crazy, like. You wouldn't like first aid training. Well, you see, that's the thing. We got basic first aid training in like in fourth year or something, where we did like CPR and like putting a bandage on. Like, I suppose there wasn't any like blood or anything, but even like simulation stuff. And that's what I think is weird. Is like, I'm not like I said, I could still see something violent happen. Like, it's not the blood, it's not the gore. It's not the trauma or the intensity or the, like, you know, the high octane adrenaline pumping, like, you know, oh my god, danger. It's none of that. It's this weird, almost like nightmare fuel feeling in like my nerve. It's like my nervous system goes like, oh no, maybe I just have like PTSD from having blood drawn a few times or something, like, because I got that done a lot when I was a kid, from what I can remember. They had to take my blood a few times. And then I remember for years when I was a young child and like, you know, coming in my teenage years, anytime we got a flu shot or anything, I was fine. Nothing wrong with me. Took it way better than most people, like, you know. I like fucked myself up a few times, like, you know, like we used to like play around in this abandoned house and we used to do stupid shit. I got like I put my hand through a fucking double glazed sliding door, and like cut my hand up to bits. Loads of blood. Like, there was loads of times where there was like a significant amount of blood coming out of me. Never got weak, never felt faint or woozy or anything like that. But after my experience in Tala Hospital, they're fixing my hernia, something changed where my nervous system was like, no, don't like that shit anymore. It's very similar to like, I used to drink so much Smirnoff vodka for like a 3-month period while I was working in a particular place. It was like counting phones in a warehouse. That I became like almost allergic to just Smirnoff vodka. I could smell Absolute, I could smell Hussar, other shit like something Polish, and I wouldn't have the intense, overwhelming reaction that I would have if I like just got a little sniff of Smirnoff. My fucking stomach would just be like, get it the fuck away from me! Like, it would turn instantly. I found that fascinating. Your body just has these thresholds where it's like, nope, you're done. Fuck off. I woke up, saw time, and turned this on. Been laying here listening. Some things said makes my mind drift into things in my past, death, suicide, and stuff. My brain is going to be weird today. The sultry tones of my voice rocking you gently into a slumber, Margie. Right, I'm gonna stick tunes on. Enjoy staring at Godzilla and the 3 niggas praying to a wrench for a few moments while I go make more coffee. And we shall PEINTEINGU when I return with more Java. Enough rambling, enough dark shit. Here's some upbeat, awesome tunes. And I want to hear you singing PEINTEINGU from my kitchen downstairs.
PEINTEINGU, goo, goo.
Right, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Before anyone asks, yes, I walk around the house in front of windows, dressed like this. I don't give a fuck. It's hilarious. I hope someone sees me. Oh, fuck me. Oh, it's cold. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Fucking kitchen's freezing. It's a nice and warm 20 degrees in this room right now. And then I go down to my kitchen and I can see my breath. Oh!
Painting goo goo. Goo 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 goo.
Remember to smash that like button. Like it has insulted your ancestors. And if you have any honor, you will pay for PEINTEINGU. The plan for the next few days, or the coming week, is I am going to release some more merch. 3 chickens are involved. Those of you who are in the Telegram chat already know what I'm talking about. I have a beautifully retarded chicken. He is adorable, hilarious looking. I love him. And I have created a t-shirt design, which is my own take on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Instead, I have the good, the bad, and the chicken. I shall depend on your input to make a finer decision in the design of the chicken t-shirt. Should the regular chicken have 6-stick needles, the vaccinations, because I was designing it earlier on and I was like, that could be funny. You have the good, it's like a chicken with a halo. The bad, like a black chicken with red horns, and then you have just the chicken, which is going to be like a brown chicken. It's just a normal looking chicken, but I was going to put like all the vaccine needles like sticking out of it. So it's like the good, the bad, the coward. Like, well, it's mainly driven by how cute the chickens are, you know. Ugh. Right.
Painting goo goo.
So, needles or no needles is the question I'm asking, basically. Should the normal chicken just be a normal chicken? Or should it have that extra social commentary / artist additive of the jibba jabs? I thought that'd be funny. Right, let's slap some more purple on this Niggeryacht. Violet. Where's my bitches? Where's my rag?
Painting goo 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 goo.
I got snow yesterday. We have had one day of snow, and it was nice. It was brief and very little, really. No snow since. Fucking love it when it snows. I love snowbar fights. They are hilarious. Oh, Christ. We should do a thing where everybody records yourself burping and send it into the stream. How good is your Gapu? It's like all these recordings of people burping. Like, you can just imagine people in the middle of work. You'd be like, oh, I have a really nice one coming on. You'd like whip out your phone to record it. Like, oh, that was a good one. I'll send that one to him. Like,
Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo Goo. Goo 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 Goo. Goo Goo.
my stomach is a rumbling. Defenderu hungry. I will spray you with so much WT-40 you will drown in it. You brack piece of shit. Squeaky Micah vexes me.
Painting Goo. Paint, paint. Painting Goo Goo.
I feel like the more, like, if I'm slightly firm with it, it doesn't creak as much, you know? It doesn't get time to make squeaky noises. Don't snowball fight with that Chinese guy from Instagram. Yikes. What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Painting Goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, Cronus! My favorite part. Do, 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 It's beautiful. Beautiful tunage. Get off my parrot, dirt! Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. A gentle squirt from my tiny mister gets the goo flowing. Always remember to wash your parrot.
I require more accuracy. I fucking love Chinese, man. Oh my god. This is This is some of the best Chinese I've ever heard. It's so intense. Fucking I can't. It's like if he was speaking English, it would still be shit quick. This is how you make a fucking little snowball. You get some nuts and bolts and some glass. Oh, that was fucking brilliant. Thank you for that, Stabber-sama. That's fucking hilarious. Snowball of death. Oh fuck. If you want to learn how to make a lethal snowball, please follow the following instructions. Like, oh fucking hell. I think this is the third chark I've done, and I've only done the fucking Xenoboon like once, even though I fucking love the Xenoboon. I've done a sketch of the Xenoboon, but I haven't done like another painting, or I don't remember putting him in another painting, unless I did and I just can't remember. I was thinking before the stream that doing the elephant as Jewish is actually like it fits so perfectly. It's so funny because it's like the elephant in the room in terms of like taboo conversations a lot of the time would have been the JQ, the Jewish question, or the fact that Jews run everything, or they're big into money or whatever, like, you know, money is their god or some shit, like. So it works in that sense, and then it also works in the sense that like Jews typically have like, you know, like stereotypically big noses and shit, and like what has a bigger nose than an elephant? So you just have this hilarious, like, you know, Owen Benjamin's Ira-esque fucking like and it's like a fucking elephant with like a little pink yarmulke on its head, like, and like give it the little Hasidic Jew curl things, like just coming down like in front of its ears or something, like. And you could just come up with scenarios where, like, you know, you just have this elephant Jew, or Jewish elephant, whatever way you want to say it. And like other animals are like coming up to his like stall in the middle of the like savannah or some shit. And he's like selling them snake oil or something, like, you know. And it's like, make your hunts like way easier, like, you know, you'd be able to catch like loads of impala with this shit, like, you know. You drink this and you won't have to compete with the other lions, they'll just give up, like, and all this shit. And every time somebody like figures out that it's a grift or something, they like blow a horn or some shit, like, and a fucking Xenoboon just comes out of nowhere and like annihilates the thing, like fucking violently annihilates the thing, like to the point where like all you can hear is like, oh my god, oh, it's killing me, oh Jesus, no, oh, this is so horrible, like fucking sausage party-esque. You know, the fucking animated movie that Seth Rogen did and all, like, there's parts of that were hilarious, like, you know, like the Irish potato being peeled. He's like, oh, Jesus! Oh, he's peeling me skin! Like, there's parts of that were fucking funny, like, obviously way over-sexualized with, like, the hot dog and the bone and all that crap, like, and some of the jokes were, like, pretty stupid. But some of it was good. I really like the firewater dude, the Indian, like, it's fucking hilarious, like. But shit like that, I think is just so funny. But learning how to animate will be an entirely new animal, like, you know. And like I said at the start of the stream, like, I'm not a fan of sitting on a laptop doing, you know, even if it is something to do with art, just like the whole idea of staring at a screen to perform menial tasks and stuff, like, sometimes it's like, ugh, so daunting. But will probably spent like thousands of hours in front of a screen just playing video games, so why wouldn't I do something productive? Ugh.
Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo.
Ah, Iron Man Maru. Welcome, Dumbosteen. Dumbosteen.
Brilliant.
I was saying this to myself, and then I might have said it on stream earlier on. I think I was just thinking it before the stream, but maybe I didn't. But I seriously want. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but like I'm gonna fucking will it and dream it into existence. I want plush, cuddly toys of my retarded chickens, and I want a plush, cuddly toy of the shark. I think that'd be a big hit, because it's just so derpy looking. It'd be a cool story arc for me personally, because I used to have loads of cuddly toys when I was a kid. And I kept loads of them right up until I was like a teenager. They were just like in the corner of my room in a shelf. I fucking loved cuddly toys. But like only like certain ones, not just like your basic bitch fucking like, oh, it's a teddy bear but it's a giraffe, like, do you know what I mean? The real like just default looking ones. I loved the ones that were like funny looking. I had a hilarious looking lion and a cheetah. I had a hilarious looking lion and cheetah that were like, they were like floppy and elongated and like cartoonish versions of a lion and a cheetah. Brilliant looking. And then I had this mouse that was really cartoonish looking from Hallmark. I think my ma got it for me one year. It was this adorable white mouse in dungarees with massive feet. It was really cute looking, and I called him Nibbles. I just had all these characters, and like sometimes, like when I was younger, like the cuddly toys would fight the Lego people. And all these Bionicles, like, you know, like hauled up in a barricade, and then the giant cuddly toys would come and try and pull them apart. I had some epic battles in my bedroom. Fucking Thermopylae ain't got shit on my bedroom. Oh god. Right. Let's give this chalk his spots, shall we? Paint! Everyone needs more Xenoboon. Xenoboon is bound to return when we least expect him to.
Paintingu.
I love how, like, epically furry and fuzzy my top knot is right now. Like, right now is the perfect top knot. This is the perfect top knot. It's got a little bit of flop and bend to it, but mainly just like fuzz. Like I just blew dry my fucking hair over or something. From now on, we'll have to like keep an eye on the top knot. It's getting too floppy. It's time to snip the knot. That was a bad one. Oh. Looks like I'm giving a fucking... It looks like this shark is not only retarded, but it has jaundice, and I'm giving it chicken pox. Oh. How fucking funny would it be if we did the whole burping thing and send it into the stream, and then Margie sends it in and it like blows us all out of the water? Like, it's like, we have one female in the chat, and she sent us in her best gepu. What's a gepu? It's a belch or a burp. Flatulence of the face. So fucking funny. My new kitten is named Twinkle Plop. I was about to say something, but Tesmondo's comment is way better. All hail Twinkle Plop. Like, not welcome to the family, not like immediately like worshipping the kitten. All hail Twinkle Plop.
Paintingu.
What kind of kitten did you get?
Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo 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 Goo. Painting Goo 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 Goo. Gloriously derpy.
Twinkle plop, did it eat a bag of sparkles or something? It has an addiction to diamonds. Like €950 worth of fluffiness. That's an expensive pussy, indeed. Ugh. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Maybe I'm being too rigorous. I can only imagine what that sounds like, your end.
Painting goo goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo goo. Painting goo goo. Doo 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 doo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. PEINTEINGU.
These tribal guys are just naked. Should probably put some leaves on them or some shit. Some tattoos. Sounds like the opposite of a twinkle plop. Loving the buck teeth on the shark, by the way. I like a shark when an underbite is so funny to me. Like dun 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 dun, and then you see it, and it's like, I'm gonna eat you. Like, thing just has a massive underbite. Like, it's the simple things that make me laugh. Like sharks with underbites. Anything with an underbite is hilarious looking. The whole bottom jaw just like, like, it's like when you make something cross-eyed. Like, you can't tell me that you can look at somebody who's cross-eyed and like fucking not a single part of your brain is like giggity. like ugh.
Oh, glorious. Painting goo 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 goo. I know the wrench isn't like really accurate, but just couldn't be arsed. You look at it, you know it's a wrench. That's all that matters. You like the teeth on the shark, you should look at the teeth on the fucking tribal guy. Like, I'm trying to just get it as white as possible, and then I'll shape it. Like, it just looks hilarious right now.
Lots of empty space here. Throw in something there. Still have to do all the niggas with the guns and the bling and shit on the yacht, so I'll probably get around to that tomorrow. It's just I wanna get the yacht nice and purple. Put the shading and details on it, and then I'll throw them on it, and then I'll have to go over it with white again to put in the gold bars, the handlebars, or the rail, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll put the name on it. Still a good bit of work to do on this one. What am I going to put here, though? I mean, I could put another shark there. Shark-infested waters. Don't really want to do anything more on Godzilla. I think he's grand the way he is. Like, he's supposed to be a bit vague looking because he's in the background, so.
Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo.
There's times where I don't want to put a black outline on something, and then I do anyway, and I'm like, much better. It's weird. Oh!
Painting goo 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 goo. Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo 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 Goo.
Alright, my beloved Japanites, and all you other filthy mortars. We have made good progress on today's Paintingu. Some more brack rinds. The chalk is firmly complete. The Tribermen have been brackened with rinds. One of them has teeth and eyes. The yacht has received another layer of violet. And the windows have been brackened. There was a lot of brack and white used today. Excellent progress. But I'm afraid that is all I have time for to do. So, my beloved Japanites, it is that time again where I must bid you sayonara. Remember to smash the like button, like it has insulted your ancestors. And of course, if you have any honor, you will click one of the many links in the description and pay for Paintingu. Filthy mortars. I shall return. Same timer, same bracer, same high-octane Paintingu energy. You've never watched paint dry like this before. Tomorrow. In the meantime, be good, be true, and be beautiful. And I shall see you then. Sayonara.